name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channelmom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
Hi, Moms. Jenny Dean Schmidt here. Welcome to the Channelmom Show. This is your show where we celebrate you as a mom. If you had a tough week, this is where we rejuvenate you and make you feel good about what you do. As I said, my name is Jenny Dean Schmidt. I am your host and a mother myself. We are here to honor and love on the moms. We really do want to meet moms where they're at so that we can remind them of how important their job is, even when the world forgets to. And we want to equip you to do your job even better. Okay, we're going to help you out today with a little bit of a schedule, and I like to call this appointment setting. At 8:10, we're going to have the news. And we do have an interesting story about a breastfeeding mom who claims she was fired because she was breastfeeding. And that's right here in Colorado. We'll have to see what you think about that. And we are going to do a couple other news stories. We have a really neat survey that I think moms are going to like. It's kind of a dreamy survey where you get to dream a little bit. So I'm going to do that coming up. Shelly, our videographer, is here today. Welcome, Shell.
Good morning.
Yep. She sounds more chipper than me. Okay, then at 8:22, we'll have a guest who can offer moms some comfort and advice because we're facing that back to school thing. No, I certainly meet a ton of moms who are like, what? I can't wait till they're out of the house. But then there are moms a little more like me who get sad every year when their kids go back to school, but also are dealing with that kindergarten or college thing. And I talked to moms at parties recently who are just devastated by their kids going off to college, and some that are upset about their kids going to kindergarten. So we'll talk about that. We have counselor Kim Spees here to talk to moms about those and things and how to cope. And finally, at 8:40, we've got the cure for your stress. If you need a little bit of stress relief this morning, Lauren Miller is the expert, and she's just got these fabulous, really quick and easy. You can just do them in the middle of your office or in the middle of your house or whatever, really, really quick to just completely relieve your stress. And we all know that stress leads to disease. So whatever you can do to relieve it, you want to do that, you know, right?
I know. I can't wait to hear what she has to say.
Yeah. She's even got one that alleviates physical pain. So if there's anybody out there having some physical pain this morning, I'm curious. On video, because we also videotape the show, I'm going to make her show us on camera. It's something to do with tapping the back of your legs or something.
Oh, okay. I have a friend who went into somebody, yelled at somebody, and she said, that just took care of my back pain.
Oh, okay.
So
she's also screaming at people.
There's one way.
All righty. But first, my commentary. I would like to change the way that people think about other people, wouldn't we all? And especially the way that they think and talk about moms and the job of mothering. What if we replaced one very common way of thinking with another way of thinking in our society? Picture this. There are typical things that we say about people to label them as successful or not so successful. Successful would be, you should see her house. It's incredible. I think it's like 10,000 square feet, granite countertops, stainless steel, sauna, steam room, pool, at least $3 million. What if instead of that, we said, oh my, you should see what she does. She's got this amazing way of raising her children. They say yes, sir, and no, ma'am. And every summer they're required to do some kind of church volunteer work to help somebody in the community. And they actually like their parents. And finally, this is big. What if the second description that I just read, that second description of the mother, meant more than the first description about the big fat house? What if in our society, suddenly that second description meant more? Because frankly, it should. It just doesn't. You're probably laughing at this point, or at least thinking that is really just weird. There's just no way that that's going to be a description of success over and above the big house. But wouldn't it be neat if it were? Wouldn't it be very cool if that was more of a mark of success, to see a woman raising her kids to be great contributors to our world? Because really, the future of the world depends on moms. Wouldn't that be neat if that was more important than the fact that she lived in a really great house and had a really nice car? I challenge you to try this sometime. And then I want to hear your comment, Shelly. I challenge you. Because when you're at a party, you want to impress people with yourself or your friends or whatever. So you talk about things like that. The houses, the cars, the job, the salary, whatever it is. Resist that temptation to talk about success in the typical ways that impress people. And instead just say something like, man, you should see what a great attitude that woman has. She helps everybody in the neighborhood. And she has so much fun with her children in the backyard. They're constantly laughing outside. She teaches her kids to stick up for those who don't stick up for them, who cannot stick up for themselves. Wouldn't it be so cool if that was the way we complimented people, or that's the way we talked about somebody at a party, instead of talking about somebody's granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, etc. One more thing. I will talk about this stuff. I know this is a theme with me, but I will talk about it till I'm blue in the face or I have blue hair someday. I mean, honestly, because I think about, I'll go to the mall and I'll see all the stuff we lift up in the mall, being a size 2 and the little mannequins and living the Starbucks lifestyle and having the $300 dress and et cetera. And then I see a little mom towing her 3 kids around the mall, trying to feed one, trying to comfort another, trying to help one buy school supplies and trying to be cheerful through the whole thing. And I think, and nobody is cheering that on. Nobody is cheering that on. And they're cheering on all the other stuff and they're aiming for all the other stuff. And it makes me crazy that the world is like that. And so I'll just fight till I'm dead to say that other stuff doesn't matter. And really, if you really cared about our world, you'd be cheerleading every mom who's out there. And even the ones that are struggling and suffering that you want to judge and say, ooh, you should see her. She drinks every night, whatever she does. She needs to be cheerleaded. So what do you think, Shel?
Well, back to the mom with the granite countertops.
Yeah.
Which I have granite countertops.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just doesn't need to be worshipped.
No, but I think if you've been in the house of the mom with the 10,000 square foot house, she values the way her kids behave, or she doesn't. I mean, you can see how that plays out. But my guess is she wishes that she had a better relationship with her kids over time rather than having the 10,000 square foot house.
Oh, absolutely. I've met women like that. Now, by the way, that doesn't mean everybody out there who's wealthy and has a really huge house doesn't have a good relationship with their children. But I have certainly met women who have sacrificed the relationship with their children to stay in that 10,000 square foot house because they're working constantly or their husband's working. So they just cannot pay as much attention to the kids as they need to. And they've lamented. They said, I'd be in a small house if I had a better relationship with my kids. Absolutely. And if I were raising them to be better people, So
sounds so much more simple to be in a small house.
Yeah. I mean, there are days I'm like, just give me an African hut. Just give me a little dirt floor so I don't even have to sweep.
Don't even have to clean that.
Exactly. And I don't have a huge house, but yeah, I get tired of all the stuff that we're beholden to in our houses. You get it? Yeah, I hope you do. Even if their dad's listening today, I imagine they get that because they don't like to see their wives stress about all that stuff.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Alrighty, it's time for the news, Dan.
If you're tired of the same old news,
What more do you want?
I want the truth.
You're hearing it. Strap yourselves in, folks.
never fear.
What's the dealio?
Part of life is learning to let things go.
We've got news moms can use.
What was that name again? I missed that.
News moms can use.
He missed that. I wonder if anyone gets tired of that. What was that name again? I missed that. It's news moms can use. And in the news this week, we've got the latest stories, and we picked them based on what we think moms want or need to hear. Okay, we've got some totally fun things coming up for the moms in this. Well, actually, one really fun thing coming up for the moms in this newscast. It's something I really just wanted to share with you. It's this little survey that I'm going to share with you at the end of the newscast. But first, this is a semi-breaking news story. I mean, I think it broke in the last 24 hours. There is a mother who's pretty local, in fact, really close to where I live, up in Evergreen, I believe. I don't know that she lives there. I don't know that I'm going to pronounce her name right, but I believe it's Heather Bergbacher. And she taught at Rocky Mountain Academy of Evergreen. And she claims that she was let go because of breastfeeding. And this is the way the story is described, that she was a tech teacher at this academy, which I believe is a charter school. And she was breastfeeding, and she worked it out so that she could pump. Well, I mean, she wasn't breastfeeding in the classroom or anything, so don't get in an uproar out there. She was having to leave the room 20 minutes 3 times a week to pump for her child. Sounds kind of reasonable.
That sounds pretty reasonable. That's not a lot, actually.
No.
Only 3 times a week.
I know. I'm wondering how she did that.
Maybe she's part-time.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, it said that she agreed with the administration that she would do this and that she did it repeatedly, but that she had to have a substitute because you're not supposed to leave a classroom full of children without some kind of somebody there to supervise. And she got somebody, that person got tired of it, and so it became kind of a problem. And she claims that one of the administrators, I think, if I'm reading this report correctly, that one of the administrators said, maybe you should just switch to formula. Which would have made me angry because I breastfed my kids till one was 15 months and one was 13 months, I guess. Because that's good stuff. There's nothing on the planet like it.
No, it's the most nutritious thing you could have.
It is, even formula. And I'm not.
And it's free?
Yes, and I'm not putting down formula moms because I know some moms just had to or they couldn't breastfeed or whatever. I get that. But if you can breastfeed, it's better for the baby. So if they really said that, that wasn't so great. But so apparently at the end of the year, her contract was not renewed. So now she's working with the ACLU to say, I was fired because I breastfed, so on and so forth. I think you and I both know that it's possible because both of our husbands are in school systems, and my husband is a principal. And I know that there are teachers that are not necessarily considered the best teachers, and you can be let go for something other than the fact that you were breastfeeding during the year, right?
I'm skeptical, though. I mean, I'm skeptical that maybe she wasn't a good teacher. Is that possible?
I'm sure, and I'm not saying she wasn't, by the way, so I don't get taken to court. I'm not saying she wasn't, but it's certainly possible. So we don't know for sure it was linked to the breastfeeding.
We don't know. I would love to find out.
Right. Well, and then
more.
let's say one other thing. You and I both know, again, that there have been cutbacks all over the place, and that one of the first things to go, at least in our schools, has been the tech stuff.
That's true.
Because it's not a CSAP test. And so, it's not on the CSAP test necessarily.
And kids can teach themselves technology
right,
just
they
in
can.
life.
So tech departments and tech classrooms and everything, I've watched them go up in the Bailey area where I'm from. So it's certainly possible. And I think the school is claiming, actually, we're shutting down the lab for kids and we were opening an adult tech lab. So I don't know.
So why not hire her for that? Still, I'm just still skeptical that she wasn't a very good teacher, and she's going to go on that to say that that's why she was laid off or fired.
We just don't know. We'll see. We'll see how her case goes. I mean, I hope she was a good teacher, and I hope she gets justice if indeed she was fired for that. But we'll see. All right, 2 more quick news items. A juicy little item from a columnist and speaker, Adora Svitak. I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly either. They don't have the pronunciation thing on the web. This columnist and speaker happens to be a child. She's talking about a big problem that applies to some of our smallest people, which makes sense because she's a child. She claims the problem lies in the fashion industry when it comes to our little girls. Svitak claims that when she visited the juniors department at a well-known national chain store, every single bra on the juniors rack was a push-up bra, even the sports ones. As a kid herself, she asked the proverbial question of retailers, why do 15-year-old girls need push-up bras that make them, quote, 2 size bigger, or thong underwear that enhances their booty? She names the brands that are marketing kids' clothes in this way. And of course, among those names is Abercrombie & Fitch, because they received some negative press recently for marketing a padded push-up triangle bikini top to girls as young as 7. I would not let my daughter wear that thing. And then there was the recent photo spread in Vogue of 10-year-old Thylane Blondeau, whose allegedly suggestive modeling poses ignited another debate over the sexualization of young girls. I chose this news story today for moms to remind them that they are up against a media industry that for the most part does not care about your children, nor does it care about the messages it sends to them and how it affects them. It just doesn't. It could care less. I have to quick get this one in because I promised I would. I found one of those little online surveys that tells you something about yourself, and this one looked kind of fun, so I thought I'd share it with you. The title of the survey is, Which Classic Beauty Icon Are You? And after you answer the survey question, you find out if you're a sultry siren. You have to actually answer a number of questions. So you find out if you're a sultry siren, or a laid-back beach babe, or an elegant glamour girl. The survey featured a lovely picture of Audrey Hepburn, who I'm guessing was an elegant glamour girl, much like myself.
Me too. I choose that one.
I do too. Now, if you want to take this survey and tell your spouse that you are indeed a laid-back beach babe, we invite you to go for it. The link for the survey is found on Daily Glow, but we've got the link to it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Channelmom. Just go there and find out if you're Audrey Hepburn. I hope you are. All right, coming up, we're going to give you a little comfort and hope for having to deal with the transition to college and kindergarten.